All right, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Hope your guys' day is going as amazing as mine. We have a lot to talk about today, so let's just get straight into it. All right, so firstly, we'll get into the daily principle. Then I'll get into something that the comment section asked me to talk about, so stay tuned for that. And thirdly, we'll get into something that's shaken up the entire crypto world in the last couple of weeks. All right, starting off, French President Emmanuel Macron warned that current low tensions with the United States may not last and urged the EU to use this moment, what he calls a Greenland moment, to push delayed reforms that boost Europe's global competitiveness. He emphasized stronger EU debt issuance as an alternative to heavy reliance on the US dollar and a strategy to build made in Europe industrial strength. This message is set to influence debates ahead of an EU summit in Belgium. The US dollar weakened in global markets due to a combination of factors, those factors being global economic positioning, stronger Asian currencies, and policy shifts. The Japanese yen rebounded, driven by optimism tied to fiscal stimulus momentum under Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi, while the Chinese yuan surged toward multi-year highs amid regulatory advisories limiting excessive holdings of US treasuries. This currency landscape is reshaping capital flows and cross-asset pricing. Major global stock indexes advanced, with Japanese Nikkei hitting new record highs after the Liberal Democratic Party's election victory reinforced fiscal stimulus prospects. The Dow Jones also posted gains, helping push a world equity index to record levels. US economic data and expectations around inflation and employment are in focus for the remainder of the week. The UK's FTSE 100 dipped slightly as BP shares dropped sharply after the company suspended its share buyback program and reported weaker results, and Standard Chartered saw a CFO exit. Despite some mid-cap gains, lingering political uncertainty and sector-specific pressures weighed on overall UK market sentiment. Macron's call for EU autonomy signals a shift in European strategic thinking, moving toward financial independence and resilience against geopolitical pressures from the United States and China. This could influence debt markets, EU fiscal policy, and long-term global alignments. Currency strength in the yen and yuan reflects diversification away from the dollar and changes in capital allocation, influencing trade competitiveness and FX risk pricing. Global equity strength, especially record highs in Japan and gains in the US markets, suggest continued appetite for risk assets. But this is tied closely to macro data and policy expectations. UK market weakness shows how corporate earnings, leadership changes, and political uncertainty can damp sentiment in developed markets. Mixed signals across assets indicate that markets are still evaluating monetary policy paths, earnings cycles, and global trade conditions. Currencies and equities are reacting ahead of major US economic releases this week, especially employment data and inflation reports. That data will be key for central bank guidance and rate expectations. A weaker US dollar and stronger yen/yuan can influence travel costs, import prices, and savings valuations, especially for those holding foreign assets or planning overseas spendings. Record global equity suggests markets are optimistic, but mixed signals mean risk remains high. In this market, diversification is extremely important. If Europe moves toward deeper economic autonomy, it could impact investment flows, debt markets, and long-term purchasing power within the EU. BP's weakness and FTSE 100 pressure shows how corporate earnings and leadership turbulence can affect local markets and investor confidence. Alright, so that was the daily principle. As we can see, the world is kind of mixed right now, so I'm excited to go farther into the week and see how it all unfolds. Moving on to the next section of the video. So I had a person in the comment section, shout out to this guy, he's been super supportive since the beginning of my channel, and he's been here since like 15 subscribers, so thank you very much, this is for you. Anyway, so he asked me to review the US-India trade deal, but from India's perspective, so let's get straight into it. Last week, India and the United States announced a major trade deal, and it could seriously impact India's economy, exports, and even farmers. So, what actually changed, who benefits, and who might lose? Let's break it down. This is not a final treaty yet. It's a trade framework, but it signals a big shift in how India and the US do business. Overall, it lowers tariffs, improves market access, and strengthens economic ties. First, exports. This is where India sees its biggest upside. The US has sharply reduced tariffs on many Indian goods. Some tariffs that were as high as around 50% have been cut to much more manageable levels, like 18%. This makes Indian products far more competitive in the American market. Industries that benefit the most include textiles and apparel, leather and footwear, gems and jewelry, engineering goods and machinery, seafood, and marine exports. These sectors employ millions of people in India, so stronger exports also means more jobs and higher income. Agriculture, on the other hand, is much more complicated. India protected its most sensitive farm sectors like dairy, wheat, rice, and pulses from major tariff cuts. At the same time, Indian agricultural exporters benefit from better access to the US markets. Now, who benefits in this, you might ask? Well, it's spice exporters, tea and coffee producers, cashew and fruit exporters, processed food producers, and many more people. But there are some concerns. Some farmers worry that cheaper US agricultural imports could hurt local prices, especially because American farming is heavily subsidized. That's why there's political pushback and protests from farmer groups. For Indian consumers and manufacturers, lower tariffs on US imports can reduce costs. This includes energy products, industrial machinery, tech and manufacturing equipment, and once again, much more than that. Lower input costs can help Indian companies become more competitive, and in some cases, consumers may see lower prices. This deal isn't just about tariffs. It also strengthens cooperation in digital trade, supply chains, technology, and advanced manufacturing. Over time, this could attract more US investments into areas like semiconductors, data centers, and high-tech manufacturing in India. Because of improved trade access and investor confidence, major banks have already raised India's growth outlook. This deal supports higher GDP growth, better export performance, a more stable currency, and stronger global positioning for India. In conclusion, the India-US trade deal is a net positive for India, especially for exports and long-term growth. But the details matter. Farmer concerns, implementation timelines, and political resistance will determine how successful the deal really is. Okay, so that wraps up that section. Thank you very much for being, a commenter. Thank you very much for being a subscriber. I really appreciate it. Let me know if you want me to talk about anything else. And that goes for everyone. I really appreciate all the comments that I get. I get a lot of positive comments, and those honestly make my day. Same thing as, when I see a new subscriber. I'm constantly checking my phone, seeing how well my videos are doing. I spend a lot of time on my videos, so it means a lot to me when people subscribe. And yeah, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, truly, thank you very much. Anyway, let's move on to the next section. Okay, so recently in the crypto world, there's been some crazy rumors and allegations thrown around today, so I want to give you guys a clear understanding of what's actually going on and how, these rumors started and what they actually mean. So let's get into it. Okay, so for the last 2 decades almost, everybody's been asking the same question. Who is Satoshi Nakamoto? Satoshi Nakamoto is the anonymous creator of Bitcoin, first described in a 2008 white paper. Despite many theories over the years, no one has conclusively proven who Satoshi really is. Known candidates include developers and cryptographers like Hal Finney, Nick Szabo, I believe I'm pronouncing that right, and Craig Wright. But none have definitive proof. Recently, social media posts and viral content claim that Jeffrey Epstein was actually Satoshi Nakamoto, or Epstein authored Bitcoin under the pseudonym based on emails found in newly released Epstein files. Some posts even quoted a supposed October 2008 email from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell about Bitcoin and a digital gold mine, but that email isn't real. There are also YouTube videos pushing the same narrative, sometimes mixing it with broader Epstein conspiracy themes. There's no legitimate email from Epstein or in the official Epstein files that shows him claiming to be Satoshi. This widely shared screenshot is a fabrication. It has formatting errors and doesn't match any of the archive files. I'm just gonna go over the email right now, just so that we can get on the same page about this. It says it was from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell, as I mentioned. Hi, Bine. Ghislaine, the Satoshi pseudonym is working perfectly. Our little digital gold mine is ready for the world. Funding secured, Jeffrey. Like I said, this email is a complete fabrication, and when you go onto the Department of Justice website and search this up, the keyword little gold mine or even just gold, well actually gold will pop up, but little gold mine, you search it up, nothing pops up. But I will say, when you do search up Bitcoin, you get 1,500 files, and I'll be talking about that in a little bit. While yes, searches of the released Department of Justice Epstein files do include references to Satoshi Nakamoto in some documents, but none show Epstein was actually Bitcoin's creator. Experts and crypto reporters agree there is no credible link tying Epstein to Bitcoin's origin story. While Epstein himself did not create Bitcoin, the documents show that he participated in early crypto-era financial circles. Epstein invested in some cryptocurrency-related entities and had financial exposure to sectors like early funding rounds, example, Blockstream and Coinbase, according to reporting. He once wrote about digital currency ideas and spoke with people involved in crypto projects, but speaking with people involved in Bitcoin is very different from being its inventor. Despite conspiracy posts and screenshots, Epstein is not proven to be Satoshi Nakamoto. There's no cryptographic evidence tying him to Bitcoin's creation. The viral claims have been debunked by multiple fact checks and media outlets. Bitcoin's creator is still anonymous, and Epstein files are being mined for sensational claims. There's a perfect storm for conspiracy theories, but lack of evidence and trusted verification means these claims are essentially just online rumors. The bottom line is that no credible evidence supports that Jeffrey Epstein was Satoshi Nakamoto, or the creator of Bitcoin. Viral emails and screenshots are fake, and the official release documents do not show Epstein authored or controlled Bitcoin. You can check all this information yourself on the Department of Justice website. Type in some of the keywords from the fake emails. There will be no articles or files that pop up. But if you do search up Bitcoin, there will be over 1,500 files. So if you're interested in that, go research it yourself. As I said, I'm not trying to give you guys misinformation. This is all that I could get in the short amount of time that I had to think about this. So I hope you guys learned something from this, and I hope you guys kind of got a little bit of an understanding about what's going on, what these rumors are, and why these rumors are not correct, or in, how should I say it, a better term, false allegations to some extent. Yes, there might have been something going on with Bitcoin and Jeffrey Epstein, but he is not Satoshi Nakamoto or the creator, as we have debunked. Anyway, that's going to be the wrap for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if there's any improvements I can make down in the comments below. Please subscribe, please share this video to some people who might find this useful, and thank you very much for watching until the end. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day or night, depending on where you are or what time it is.